Hello everyone! Welcome in this new live workshop where I go a little bit deeper on the program itself, the personal acknowledgement system. As many of you already know, I noticed that my lighting is very poor. Let me check, can I change that quickly? No, I can't. So let me just focus on this one. Good. In this session, this week's productivity lesson itself, we're going to go a little bit deeper on the personal acknowledgement system within my company, the company name AIM, Action, Information and Insight Management. We're going to go a little bit deeper upon what exactly is a personal acknowledgement system, who needs one, why do you need one, and then go a little bit more in depth of what does it contain, like what's the underlying state, idea, methods behind it. Because what I notice within the groups, within the people that are searching for solutions, they often tend to search for the new best software package. Like, what software package do I need to solve this specific problem that I have? And what I want to show a little bit on for you guys today is like understanding which kind of methods that you need, and based on those methods, based on those mental choosings, well, those mindset shifts, let me say it differently, based on those mindset shifts, you can create your own system any way you want to. This could be on paper, this could be on Google Docs, what is it, Google Keep, your mailing address, all of the different things. But it's just you being in control over your own data. Good. I have my mobile phone here so I can see live questions if they come up. Feel free to reach out. I really love to have more questions come in that I can help one-on-one as well. Well, at least directly. Let me say it differently, not one-on-one, but directly. Good, let's get into it. Amazing. Good. So this is the presentation, of course, itself. Aim to be limitless. It is a nice wordplay that I've kind of accelerated upon, where AIM stands for Action, Information and Insight Management. So these are the methods that you need to understand to create your own personal acknowledgement system. This is the topic of today. Good. What is a personal acknowledgement system? In a certain way, it is one place of truth where you as an individual can store your information, that you can fully trust that specific place. Because in the past, in the educational system, we've been taught that we as individuals needed to remember stuff. Like, I'm 31 years old right now, and the stuff that I've learned in school, like the data, like information, wasn't really that relevant or wasn't really upon my interest. That was also for me why I chose a very technically focused education. I did electrical engineering as a background. But like, remembering things was never something that I was really good at. I was good at understanding certain things, certain like logic behind the whole idea. And that led me into that electrical engineering part. And the challenge, the idea that I'm seeing now more and more and more, like, we're not here to remember things. We have that skill of remembering things, so it is a skill of remembering things, which is amazing. But we're not here to remember things. Because the downside of remembering things is, well, no, let me go a little bit deeper upon that in further slides. What is a PKS itself? So that is a personal acknowledgement system, personal database, where you as an individual like actually write the stuff in based on your ideas, thoughts, actions that you have, information that you have. Like all of the stuff, crap that's coming in, is you being in control over that data, where it's stored, how you handle those things. And in the data analytics world, we often mention as in you have one place of truth. The stuff that's in there, that's actually truth. All the noise that's outside of that container is old information in a certain way. Especially if you've done some engineering, then all of the stuff that's within that one database is correct and the rest is just external. Good. So having that with your own knowledge, with all of the stuff that you have learned in the past that you have been organized upon. So this could be writing down all of the projects that you want to work on. Having a calendar, like just as simple as having a calendar, as in, okay, when will you go to the dentist? When will you go to the doctor? What kind of payments do you have? Like your financial plan. All of those little software packages, together, they are a personal knowledge system. And the thing is, often we understand some parts of those and we use them. But the challenge itself is to really look at your own life as an individual and to see what kind of data, what kind of information is coming into my life and how can I use that to improve my quality of life. And that is the personal knowledge system will be a very, very massive benefit for you as an individual for this. Good. This is a fun one. Who needs a PKS? Basically everyone. And I want to specify it a little bit, especially if you are already working as a knowledge worker. Most of us now in the Western world, well, it's not really true, but more and more people within the Western world are calling themselves a knowledge worker. That means basically what you're doing is receiving that piece of information from some specific location and then rewriting it, processing it, and then giving a piece of information somewhere else. So if you're doing some office work, then you're a knowledge worker. You're getting mails in, you're processing those mails based on your structure, instructions, something, and then you have a certain output. Then you call certain people, then you order certain tasks, you order certain materials, and that's basically a knowledge worker. So especially those who often work with the computer or often work with a lot of data coming in and they need to process that whole concept, they need a PKS. I really want to try to see if I can... Wait, let me move into the big screen for a second, because I want to increase my lighting a bit. Haha! Check. The magical things of this world. And let me do it differently. Then I'm going to put it on automated. And then everything is just taken care of by itself. Good. All of these little details. That's the benefit or the downside when you're alone. Then you understand everything, but you do need a pause sometimes. So apologize for that. So if you are that knowledge worker and you process mails, data, a lot of calls, a lot of stuff that's coming in, you're feeling busy. If you're truly feeling busy, then the PKS will benefit your growth. Imagine that you're currently having a certain amount of output, and with a personal knowledge system, you are taking control over your data again, and then you can add a new layer of new potential new output, new rest. Like it's a form of mindfulness underneath all of this. So basically everyone needs a PKS. Why do you need a PKS? Already gone into that a little bit upon, well, you need it because you are not your personal knowledge. You're not your logic. There is someone that is very in that whole spiritual world, and his name is Sadhguru. And Sadhguru mentions, you are not your thoughts, or you are not your mind. You are not even, sorry, reverse. You are not your body. You are not even your mind. Well, that's a whole cue itself, as in, you are not your body and you're not even your mind. And that made me think in very deep parts, as in, wow, if we're not our body and if we're not even our mind, then what are we? What am I that is observing my own thoughts, my own struggle, my own limiting beliefs, my own culture, my own state? And for me, the goal itself is to externalize my thoughts, my logic, my ideas that are kind of like running through my head, which created overwhelm, overthinking, just an overall feeling of stress. As in, I've got so many things on top of my mind that I found it difficult to externalize them, to wanting to express them. That feeling of wanting to express ourselves and not able to do that in a certain way because like the mind is so messy in a certain way. Well, messy, well no, it's so full of potential, but it's very difficult to actually make sense out of it because it's so deep and so powerful. I just read a comment, can you show an example of a PKS system? For PKS system? Yes, I can. In this specific one, I'm going to go a little bit deeper upon what does a PKS system contain of. So we will have some examples upon that. So yeah, we will get to that. And other than that, a lot of stuff is in videos as well within my YouTube channel. So yeah, Sadhguru, why do you need it? Because we are the observer of our own thoughts. And what I personally used it for is really focusing on my own spiritual growth and my own like personal growth. Let me say it personal. Because then I could start to identify my external thoughts as a third person. And then choose, hey, is this something that is still benefiting me as a person, as experiencing this level? So PKS can have many examples. And as that I am growing with my potential, with my impact, with my personal system, I noticed that there are still more things that kind of clicked together. And then everything becomes bigger and stronger. Because it really starts with like the slowing down to speed up. Like, what are you currently struggling most? It could be your agenda. Like, the agenda is a struggle point for you personally, or not finding telephone numbers. Okay, great. Then your first step of PKS is organizing your telephone numbers in such a way that you can find it and make it traceable for you as an individual. Because really focus on the biggest pain point. Like, don't prioritize certain things, but focus on the biggest pain points. What will move the needle most comparison to the other things that are like kind of nice, but it keeps you busy. Like, really focus on that most important thing. And something also what I hear, I feel too busy to actually improve my system. I fully understand it. I was in that state. like feeling of rush, 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 and being so exhausted at the end of the day that you don't feel that you just want to sit on the couch and just relax. I understand that feeling. And the challenge then is to really tune into what makes you most exhausted and improve upon that level. Because we're just here to express ourselves. Our energy is so limitless. It is so full of potential that it's almost impossible if you are in a certain state to think about that previous version of you. So there's a lot of layers underneath it. Good. And now we get into a little bit of an example of an PKS. A PKS is a managing system for your action, for your to-do list, for example. I personally do it. The best one that I found is the Getting Things Done system of the David Allen method. So this is just one database. Oh, there's a lot of rain outside here. That's one database that I add upon every level of actions that I have upon my life. Like, I don't want to prioritize actions, like focusing on the most important thing, but I want to be in full control over all of the actions that I have in my life. And believe me, and I'm still working on that, and I'm still struggling through all of the stuff that I kind of need to do, but I find difficulty to actually do that. But the PKS, for me, started off with action management because that was the most painful thing for me as an individual. Procrastination, not knowing, in control of my calendar, having a very full mailbox, having the phones, not knowing where the data was coming from, like missing appointments, missing meetings, all of that stuff. For me, it started with action management. And then the second one, I'm placing it as 4, but it's just the second one. It's so funny. Like a side note, I just saw something of Julian, which is really amazing, and he showed like be the authentic you, like don't play your role, just be the authentic you. And just me, like I notice it for myself now, like me placing that 4 fingers instead of 2. That is a result of me being nervous of speaking like this, expressing myself the way that I am at this moment. So it's quite fun to have that. I see a question. Thank you very much. Is PKS the same as the para method? For me, well, no, it's not the same. Let me say it differently. Personal acknowledgement system is the overarching system for you to externalize all of your thoughts, ideas, actions, information. And within the part of PKS is information management, managing your information, is part of the PKS. And I personally base my information management on the PARA system. So that includes projects, area, resources, archive. And I'll go a little bit deeper 2 slides further in. So I would say that the PARA is a method that you can use to organize your PKS in. Good. And then we go into insight management. As many of us are growing older and collecting more wisdoms, and wisdoms is something that like changes something in your perspective of the world, and that creates your understanding gets shifted. Like it's your insight. It's not really just a random idea of let me create this project, but the insight management is something of what do I currently understand upon a subject or an idea, like what is true for me in this moment. Because a lot of times we are, especially in conversations with each other, we are discussing, like actually having a discussion, like right or wrong, about what is true in life. And quite often what I noticed, especially in my recovering pessimist idea, is I was very knowledgeable about all of the facts and figures and all of that little information. But what I noticed is, while I was growing, that the biggest difference was in belief system. And to be honest, I barely understood what I believed myself. I was just looking at data and then using that data and then make an argue around that data to make my point. And now, after the CLC coaching of Mind Valley, I really started to go into depth of everyone has their own belief system and understanding what they believe to be true in the world. Because, for example, like a very, very, very big one for me personally is, no, it's too far away. It's a book from Rutger Bregman, and that's roughly translated because it's originally written in the Netherlands, in Dutch. Roughly translated, it means every person is all right, as in has the best intent in mind. We are only the stuff that we are seeing as the outside world is a result of our build-up traumas, like fears, like our own limiting beliefs, our own feeling. And based on that insight that I have, as in everyone that I see around me has the best intention in mind. Everyone, all of the time. Whatever crazy stuff that you're seeing in violence, criminality, and different things. But this is like me managing my own insights. Like, what do I believe to be true? Like that core belief. And based on insight management, we can write down all of the insights that you have and then connect the insights that you have towards each other. So this could be like, I personally believe that it's not really belief, like the stuff that I understand to be true is the whole world is made out of frequency and in such a level that our emotional state is also connected to our frequency. So the higher frequency that your body actually has, it's not completely true in the language model, but the higher frequency that your body has, the more energy that you are experiencing, and our soul is translating that into positive emotions, or experiences those vibrations and translates those into emotions. It doesn't have to be positive. If you're feeling depressed, you're feeling down, because your cells are moving less quickly. This is like my understanding upon, like my insight, how emotional mastery works, how frequencies work, how metaphysics works, how energy works. So whenever I'm having a conversation with someone and she or he is telling me something about energy work, I'm thinking about an energy worker right now, then I'm cross-checking that belief system, not if the belief system is true, but I'm listening for the insights of what does she believe to be true, and is that something that I resonate with or not? And especially if it's not, then I can lean into it. So this is something so massively powerful for you as an individual to start writing down the insights that you have. And based on those insights, like map out your own understanding of reality in a certain way. Beautiful question. I think it's a little bit outside of this one, but I'll dive into it because I love that part. How do you improve your emotional energy? That's a very, very, very good one. this book. Wow. Like letting go of the resistance that you have internally, like tuning into the body, as in where do you feel the resistance that you might, that you feel, like if you're feeling bummed out or angry, like where's that angry coming from? And is there an emotional layer that you can tune into? There are some exercises. I also made an hour book review about this specific book, about letting go. And then I personally experienced that the result of going through my traumas, my small traumas, led me into having more energy as an individual, being more healthy, being more fit, being like able to speak up for like a live session to now people who are watching this. We're with the three of us right now, so it's already amazing compared to the journey that I've gone through. So that then the growth is actually exponential. So really amazing. Good. And then we go a little bit deeper on what does action management consist of. So this is like going back a step, really practically. All of us have actions to do in our life. I want to give a little bit notch of this is not habit building. Habit building is different. This is for just action management. And actions are stuff that you need to do in this physical world. So paying certain bills, like cleaning up your house, that could be a habit as well. But if you find it like you need to do stuff, then it's an action beforehand. Like giving this live conversation is also an action of mine, but that's an action which is time bound. I'm doing this today within my Netherlands time zone between 7 and 8. That's the time that I have to do this specific action. So managing all of my actions leads into these 5 categories. This is fully based on the Getting Things Done system of David Allen. So like top-notch productivity expert, like thank you so much, like stuff has been amazing. And that lets you escape that feeling of managing your time, like time management, time blocking. If you truly want to escape that layer, then it's making that shift from managing your time to managing your actions. Because the default, or at least, yeah, the default as well, but the result as well is you experiencing freedom. And while you are experiencing freedom, then the layer of, in the spiritual worlds, we often call that the time bending starts. Because the levels of thinking as you as an individual is way quicker comparison to the physical things that we like time box, like spend an hour of creating a webinar. Yeah, but while you are doing all of that stuff, your mind goes all over the place. And the idea of capturing that PKS, that focusing on actions, is all of the stuff that you like blur out, think about, like create actions out of that, create actionable goals, because you can create your life goal in such massive amounts of life. It's almost unbelievable. So, practically, not actionable must, actionable must, the maybe list, and the waiting for, and time bound. And I want to like do this. Good. Especially, like first, let's define what is a must. A must itself is that what you agreed with yourself or with someone else. And I want to like clarify this. Your word becomes your bound. Whatever you say that you do, you do. So that really becomes a must. all of the other stuff that you're like, nah, maybe I'll wake up tomorrow at 8. Maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. Then it's not a must. Like actually be very critical upon yourself. What is a must? What have you agreed with someone else or with yourself? Then it's a must. And even because I only recently started with putting musts upon my own stuff. Because our own must we often don't follow through. And based on this PKS, the must that you agreed upon will be the stuff that you will be doing. Good. So separating that must is a very important one. And putting the rest of the actions, which might be fun, but put those on the maybe actions. This frees up massively. You're not thinking about that consciously anymore because it's written out. It is like somewhere. So you can be more in the present here and now. Good. And then the waiting for actions is if you send out an email to someone else and you're waiting for a response, then your action is actually waiting. You're not consciously doing something specifically, but your action is still waiting. And that's a very powerful one to be in control over all of your outgoing messages as well. Since sending out an outgoing message, and then you're just writing out, I'm waiting for the response of that person. That makes you in control over your actions in a certain way. Like you're not doing stuff double, or you're not trying to remember, I still need to get contact from that person, or just keeps you on top of things. And the time bound, already talked about that a little bit, which is the time-bound action, which is the calendar. So within 7 and 8, then the time-bound is an action that you need to do, like giving a live presentation. So it's setting up it's like setting up a priority. Well, that's a very, very good point. Short answer, no. A priority doesn't exist. Well, yes and no. Like the plural of priorities. I've got at this moment one priority, and that is just right here to make my storyline as powerful as possible within the skill that I have. Right now I don't have any other priorities. Like if something would happen here with the cat, then my priority becomes that. Then you guys aren't a priority anymore. Then it's just cat. Because I kind of want to reframe the priorities into focus points. You don't have multiple focus points. You have just one focus point right here, right now. And that's it. All of the other stuff kind of needs to write down, and you're in control of those layers. Like there are things that you are responsible for that needs to be done. But they are not priorities, if that makes sense. I kind of want to go further, but if that is still a question, then I perhaps need to go a little bit deeper upon that specifically. Good. What is information? Because we have about 13 minutes remaining. Thank you for the question. I will answer that, but I think I'll do that without this live consist. What does information management consist of? I personally do that within the PARA system, Projects, Area, Resources, Archive, with the underlying mindset of organize your information based on your goal. Like, what do you need this information for? If you don't have something that you will use, like the knowledge of this book for, or the knowledge of this live session, then don't gather it, don't organize it, don't capture it. often we have been educated or like misled by the marketing and sales and all of that stuff. So that you keep searching for the next golden egg, next golden egg, next golden egg, which is as a result of our feeling of lack or not being enoughness or all of that, like limiting beliefs, which is BS. Like all of us are so loving, amazing people just as individuals. Like there's not amount of knowledge that you can gain to heal that part. So it's just like there's no next golden egg. It is you making that shift of capturing data into expressing yourself using the data that you already been taught. Like if you can already like hear what I'm saying, as in the English language and just having the computer and then seeing all of this stuff, you're already so far behind, so far advanced that you're just going to focus, okay, as in, what do I actually need to do right now? Okay, prioritizing. Not prioritizing. But it's expressing yourself, being that creator instead of capturing data. It is expressing yourself as an individual. So that's what the information management is kind of for, like organize your information based on your goal. What do you need it for? Like, what do you need the specific email for? Okay, if that's for a specific project, a specific marathon that you're running, great, put it on there within the Para system. And I kind of want to go a little bit deeper because I have some space for questions, but I'm running out of time. Like I'm very enthusiastic about this one, which is fun. Also part of because of the questions. So thank you very much. I'm not seeing your name, but for me it's Google. So thank you. And what does insight management consists of? I already went a little bit deeper upon that. It is managing the belief systems that you have or the understanding of something specific. Some specific understanding of a certain subject. And the underlying mindset is build your ideas from the ground up instead of from top down. Quite often within the educational system, we have been taught to first pick your subject and then start researching something for that subject. It has worked in a certain way for many people and it has been enough. But the downside is after you've completed that topic that you're kind of like lost in the information that you're like, I don't need that stuff anymore. It's okay. And the challenge thing here, or this information management, is to really start at the bottom, as in, okay, what do I actually know about the truth? Or what do I know about the world currently? Like, if you want to create bread, what do I know already? Like, okay, you need dough and you need water. Okay, what else you need? Like milk, you need to like stir them up. And why do we need to stir them up? I don't know. Like capturing all of the information that you already know as a starting point to make sense out of your world. And the funny thing is that you will, so this is based on the Zettelkasten method. Later on, if you're doing this for all of the parts of your being, your own life, your own understanding, then you will find connections as in, whoa, you're like, during meditation looking up, is that also connected to NLP, like neuro-linguistic programming? Is that also connected to the blood flow of brain underneath all of this? Like asking questions, like being curious as in, hey, do these things like connect with each other? And if that's a question, then it's something that you can lean into or not. Like it can remain a question. But what I noticed in my almost 2 years now, like my conversations become like so amazingly interesting because I'm just looking like, okay, this is my understanding. Like, how do you look at it? I've got no idea. I'm not discussing stuff anymore. I'm just learning and growing as an individual to going a little bit in depth of my insight management. So that's also within the PKS. So in general, like the PKS is the overarching one, and part of that is action management, information management, and insight management. That's what I'm focusing on within this container, within my company. But it's also could be like habit tracking or finance or organizing where you like store all of your actions or all of your items in the house if you feel like doing that, or your workflow processes. Like you are in control over the data that you see in your life. Good. And I added this page as in, are you interested in this? Then feel free to dive a little bit deeper on the YouTube channel that I have. I've got over 300 videos upon this one, specifically now. And every week I'm giving this productivity workshop, which is really amazing, and let's grow into that one. And I'm also like, we can have a one-on-one conversation as well, because I'm here to like learn from the pain points and create content out of those pain points, because I really see the value of all of the knowledge and all of the steps and all of the stuff here to make that happen. Good. And I wanted to end it off with this amazing like sentence that I kind of like connected today, so I'm kind of proud on it. Like, aim to have questions. Like, really feel free to lean into this stuff as, what kind of questions do I have based on this knowledge? Do I feel like I want to create something like this? What's holding me back? Is there something that's still holding me back? Is there something like a fear of not wanting to write stuff down? Is it me not knowing how to like type properly or fast, or like what's holding me back? Not knowing the software package just yet. And the underlying thing is to really tune into yourself, as in, hey, what's going on? If I want to do that, what's holding me back to do this? Good. Thank you so much for Google. I really love sharing those insights and all of this stuff, because you are me and I am you in a certain way as this culture is developing. It has been 50 for now, so I went 2 minutes over. I thank you very much, and feel free to write a post upon this one later on as well, if you feel like that. And for now, I thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.